LADSANGEN, you have a unique purpose embedded within you. That's not just a phrase to make you feel good. It's a fact of your existence. The very moment you took your first breath, the world gained something it had never seen before you. Your story, your voice, your way of thinking, your lived experiences, your lens on life, these things are not coincidences. They are indicators, clues, reminders that you were never meant to just go through the motions or blend into the noise. You were born with something valuable within you, and it's not based on what you achieve or how others perceive you. It's rooted in who you already are. That sense you feel deep down, the quiet pull to build something, say something, change something, isn't random. That's your purpose trying to speak. And the reason you can't shake it, no matter how much you distract yourself or try to downplay it, is because purpose doesn't go away. It waits, patiently, silently, but persistently. It'll tug at you during ordinary moments. It'll echo in your frustration when life feels routine or shallow. It'll whisper to you when you're scrolling through someone else's success, not out of jealousy, but because something in you is saying, you've got something too. You might think you're not qualified. You might think it's too late, too complicated, or too risky. But the truth is, purpose doesn't come with a manual. It doesn't ask if you feel ready. It doesn't care about your RA, your past mistakes, or how many times you've fallen short. It's already inside you, waiting to be discovered, not earned. And don't confuse your job title, your grades, your background, or your social status with your purpose. Those things may be a part of your journey, but they are not the definition of your worth. Purpose is deeper. It's that thing that energizes you when you speak about it. It's the thing you do even if no one noticed. It's what stirs in your heart when you see something broken in the world and think, I want to fix that. It's what you bring to a space that no one else quite can. It could be how you listen, how you lead, how you teach, how you create, how you comfort, how you challenge. It could be in the way you use your pain as fuel instead of a prison. It could be how you turn your story into someone else's survival guide. You don't need to know the full plan to trust that you're meant for more. You just need to stop burying what's already there. Every time you silence your intuition, compare your progress, or stay small to make others comfortable, you bury a little more of your purpose. And the longer you do that, the heavier it gets. Because deep down, you know you were built for something more than survival. You were built to contribute something. Something real. Something that lasts. And yes, walking in purpose will cost you. It will cost your comfort, your certainty, maybe even some relationships that weren't built for where you're headed. But it will give you far more than it ever takes. It will give you clarity, passion, focus, a reason to keep going when life gets heavy. And most of all, it will give you peace. The kind that doesn't come from validation, but from alignment. You don't have to have a stage, a platform, or an audience to walk in purpose. You just have to stop waiting. Waiting to be perfect. Waiting to be understood. Waiting for someone to come along and say, now you're good enough. You were already equipped the day you were born. And no one else can activate your purpose for you. It's your responsibility to unlock it, protect it, and run with it. The people who make the greatest impact in this world are rarely the ones with the most resources. They're the ones who dared to believe that what was inside them mattered. The ones who didn't wait for permission to start. The ones who used their broken pieces to build something beautiful. You are not here by accident. You're not random. You're not replaceable. You carry something only you can carry. Don't waste it, trying to fit into someone else's version of success. Don't silence it just to feel safe. There is a reason your heart beats the way it does. There is a reason your mind works the way it does. There is a reason your life has been what it's been. You weren't just created to exist. You were not designed to copy others. That idea alone should liberate you from the constant pressure to measure your worth by someone else's blueprint. But for many of us, it's not that simple. We live in a world that praises imitation more than originality, that celebrates what's trending over what's true. From the time we're young, we're subtly taught that fitting in is safer than standing out. We learn how to mold ourselves, not into who we really are, but into what others seem to applaud. And so we scroll, compare, mimic, and shrink ourselves, hoping that if we can just act like them, talk like them, post like them, live like them, we'll finally feel like we matter too. But deep down, you know that imitation leaves you hollow. Because every time you try to be someone else, you betray the unique wiring that was placed inside you on purpose. You weren't given your personality, your voice, your story, and your vision just to suppress them. You were given those things as tools to create your own lane, not to walk in someone else's footsteps, but to leave your own. When you copy others, even if they're successful, you end up abandoning the very thing that could set you apart, your authenticity. The problem with copying is that it may give you a shortcut to attention, but it robs you of true connection. People may like what you show them, but you'll always question whether they really like you. That disconnect creates anxiety, burnout, and a constant pressure to perform. Because when you're pretending, everything becomes a performance, and performances require perfection. But you weren't created to perform. You were created to express, and real expression doesn't chase applause, it chases impact. There's something tragic about watching someone with immense potential waste it by trying to replicate someone else's path. You've seen it. People lose their fire not because they lack talent, but because they never gave themselves permission to be fully themselves. They think their voice isn't enough, so they borrow someone else's tone. They think their story isn't impressive, so they rewrite it to sound more like what others celebrate. But the truth is, trying to live out someone else's calling will always leave you frustrated and exhausted, because that calling wasn't built for you. And even if you succeed at becoming a great imitation, you'll never find peace in a role you were never meant to play. The world doesn't need another copy. It doesn't need more echo chambers and recycled ideas. It needs voices that are rooted in truth, not trends. It needs people who are bold enough to own their originality and walk in it, even if it doesn't look like anyone else's journey. And walking in your own path doesn't mean you ignore inspiration. It means you translate it through your lens. It means you absorb what resonates, but you process it through who you are, not who you think you should be. There is power in being unapologetically yourself. It takes courage to not conform, to not copy, to not cave under the weight of expectation. But that courage creates space for innovation, healing, and transformation. The people who make real impact are the ones who dare to be different, even when it's uncomfortable. They understand that originality isn't just about being unique for the sake of standing out. It's about being true to the assignment only they can fulfill. Creation requires courage, not perfection. The pressure to be perfect is an ever-present force in a world that constantly holds up unattainable standards of success. We're told to be flawless in our work, our relationships, our appearance, and our choices, often forgetting that perfection doesn't fuel progress. It paralyzes it. The relentless pursuit of flawlessness is one of the greatest barriers to creation. We're afraid that if we make a mistake, if we show vulnerability, or if we fall short of someone else's expectations, it will all come crashing down. But the truth is, perfection is a lie that only stifles growth. It's the courage to start, despite the fear of imperfection, that sparks creation. When we think about the most innovative and groundbreaking work in history, we often forget about the messy middle, the setbacks, the mistakes. We focus on the finished product, the triumph, and the applause. What we don't see are the countless hours of trial and error, the failures, the doubts, and the frustrations that came before. The people who created the things that changed the world didn't do it by getting everything right on the first try. They did it by daring to try it all. They were willing to step into the unknown, to take risks, and to embrace the inevitable imperfections that come with any creative process. Perfectionism, in fact, is the enemy of creativity. It's an illusion that paralyzes you with the fear of making mistakes. It convinces you that your ideas aren't good enough, your efforts aren't worthwhile, or that you're not capable of achieving greatness unless every detail is perfect. But in reality, perfection doesn't exist. What we often perceive as perfect is just something that has been polished to the point where it can no longer grow. The best ideas, the most authentic works, and the most innovative breakthroughs all came from imperfect beginnings. Creation is an act of bravery. It requires the courage to look at something that is incomplete, unrefined, and even vulnerable, and still believe in its potential. It requires you to trust in the process, even when the outcome is uncertain. And most importantly, it asks you to let go of the need for external validation. When you are creating, you are tapping into something that is deeply personal and raw. It doesn't always make sense to others at first, and it may never align with mainstream ideas of success. But that's okay. The courage to create isn't about pleasing others. It's about staying true to your vision. No matter how imperfect it might be, creation also brings us closer to the essence of our humanity, because it fosters connection. When we create, we are sharing a part of ourselves with others. Whether it's through a song, a piece of writing, or a work of art, we are offering a piece of our soul, and in doing so, we invite others into our world. Creation is an act of vulnerability. It requires us to open up, to be seen, to risk rejection, and to expose our innermost thoughts and feelings. And yet, in this vulnerability, we find connection. We find that we are not alone in our experiences. Others see themselves in our work, feel understood by our expressions, and find solace in the shared experience of being human. To create is also to honor our existence. It is a way to celebrate life itself. In a world that can sometimes feel chaotic or overwhelming, creation provides a sense of purpose. It reminds us that we are active participants in the unfolding of life. We are not mere observers, but contributors to the ongoing story of the world. Creation allows us to leave a mark, however small, on the world around us. It is a way to say, "I was here," and to contribute something meaningful to the collective tapestry of human experience. At its core, creation is about authenticity. It is about being true to ourselves, to our unique vision, and to the things that matter most to us. In a world that often encourages conformity, creation provides the space to be different, to be bold, and to embrace what makes us unique. It is an invitation to explore who we truly are, beyond the expectations of society or others. It is a space where we are free to be ourselves, without apology or shame. Creating is sacred because it connects us to something greater than ourselves. Whether we acknowledge it or not, when we create, we are tapping into the collective human experience, linking ourselves to every person who has ever made something with their hands, their words, or their minds. It's a universal language that transcends borders, cultures, and time. It's a way for us to communicate across generations, to share stories, and to leave behind something that will continue to resonate long after we are gone. In this way, creation is an act of both personal and collective significance. It is a powerful reminder that we are part of something much larger than ourselves. Your creativity is your responsibility. This statement may seem simple on the surface, but when you truly sit with it, it carries a weight that is both empowering and daunting. We often think of creativity as something that happens in bursts of inspiration, a force that is either there or it isn't, something that can't be forced or controlled. But creativity, like any other gift or talent, comes with a responsibility. It's not enough to wait for the perfect moment or hope that the stars align for you to create. You are the one who must take ownership of it, nurture it, and use it. You must take the reins of your own creative energy and actively choose to bring it into the world. The first step in understanding the responsibility of creativity is recognizing that it's not something that exists solely for your own benefit. Creativity is a gift that you hold not only for yourself, but for others as well. Every time you create, whether it's a piece of writing, a painting, a song, a business, or a solution to a problem, you are offering something to the world. You are giving others a part of yourself, your perspective, your experiences, and your ideas. What you create may touch someone else's life in ways you can't predict or even imagine. That's the power of creation. It connects us all in ways that words cannot. It allows you to leave a mark on the world, to be part of a bigger conversation, to influence others, and even to inspire change. But this gift comes with a responsibility. It's easy to forget that creativity isn't a finite resource. It's not something that will dry up or disappear if you use it too much. In fact, the more you tap into your creativity, the more it grows. But in order for it to grow, you have to give it the space and time it needs to flourish. Too often, people let their creativity lie dormant, waiting for the right moment or a perfect idea to come to them. But the truth is, there is no perfect moment. The world won't wait for you to feel ready. The responsibility lies with you to make the space for your creative ideas to evolve, to be bold enough to take the first step, even when you feel uncertain or unprepared. One of the greatest obstacles to taking responsibility for your creativity is fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of judgment. These are all deeply ingrained in the human experience, and they can easily hold you back from fully embracing your creative potential. But the truth is, fear is not an indicator that you should stop. It's simply a signal that you're stepping into something unknown. Every successful person who has created something worthwhile has faced fear at some point, and they have chosen to move forward anyway. Creativity isn't about perfection or getting everything right. It's about taking action, embracing the process, and trusting that what you bring to life is valuable, even if it doesn't look exactly how you imagined it at first. Taking responsibility for your creativity also means honoring your own unique voice. In a world that often rewards conformity and uniformity, it can be tempting to look to others for validation, to compare your work with someone else's, and to feel as though your creativity is not enough unless it meets certain standards. But your creativity is not meant to be a copy of someone else's. It is uniquely yours, shaped by your experiences, your insights, and your perspective. No one else can bring what you have to offer in the way that you can. To deny your own creativity, to bury it because you feel it isn't as good as someone else's, is to rob the world of what only you can create. The responsibility to yourself and to others is to be true to your own voice, to trust that your unique perspective has value, and to embrace the imperfect nature of your own creations. Furthermore, when you take responsibility for your creativity, you also take responsibility for your growth as a creator. Creativity is not static. It evolves, deepens, and changes over time. The more you create, the more you learn, the better you become. But in order to grow, you must be willing to put in the work. This means not only showing up every day to create, but also seeking out opportunities to learn and improve. Whether that means taking a course, seeking feedback from others, or simply practicing your craft. Taking responsibility for your creativity means committing to continuous growth. You cannot expect your creative abilities to reach their full potential if you're not putting in the effort to develop them. No one else can do this for you. It's your responsibility to nurture your talent, to challenge yourself, and to keep pushing the boundaries of what you can create. Finally, taking responsibility for your creativity means showing up for it, even when it's difficult. There will be times when the process feels frustrating, when you hit a creative block, or when you doubt yourself. But the responsibility to create doesn't vanish just because it's hard. It's in these moments of difficulty that your creativity needs you the most. Pushing through the challenges, continuing to show up, and refusing to give up on your creative vision is what separates those who create from those who don't. Creativity is not reserved for the lucky or the naturally gifted. It's for anyone who is willing to take responsibility for it, to give it the time and attention it deserves, and to commit to the journey, no matter how long or difficult it may be. Your creativity is your responsibility because it is a gift, and with every gift comes a duty to use it. It's not enough to have potential. You must actively cultivate it. It's not enough to wait for the right moment. You must make the space to create. And it's not enough to create for yourself. You must offer your creativity to the world, knowing that it has the power to connect, inspire, and make a difference. In embracing the responsibility of your creativity, you are not just creating for the world. You are creating for yourself, for your growth, for your purpose. You are stepping into a role that only you can fulfill, offering something uniquely yours to those around you. Remember that the world doesn't need your perfection. It needs your authenticity, your vulnerability, your expression. So, don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't shy away from the fear or the doubt. And don't ever believe that your creativity isn't enough. It is. And it is yours to shape, to nurture, and to give. The responsibility lies within you, and with it, the power to make something truly meaningful. Step into it, own it, and create. The world is waiting for what only you can offer.